Hello guys, it's Miss Michelle with you today. I'm pretty excited because Sunday we get to see you, or maybe see some of you at church. Remember that Brother Kyle and Brother Steve and Brother Jacob have put little guidelines out for us. We can't hug, we can always wave and give I love yous across the sanctuary, but that'll be hard for some of us, especially Miss Michelle. So if you remember last week, we talked about two brothers, okay? Remember their name was Jacob and Esau. And remember that they were kind of tricked. One was kind of tricked, right? In order to get his father's blessing and to, so Rebecca, the mom, remember, which one was her favorite child? Do you remember? Wasn't that long ago, right? So remember, her favorite child was Jacob, okay? So Jacob tricked Esau into getting the blessing from their dad, Isaac. The mom had a part in this, remember? And so now we're going to find out what happens in the rest of Genesis 27 with Jacob, okay? So right now I'm going to read Genesis 27, verses 41 through 45, okay? Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. He said to himself, "The days of mourning for our father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." When Rebekah was told what her oldest son Esau had said, she sent for her younger son Jacob and said to him, "Your brother Esau is planning to avenge himself by killing you. Now then, my son, do as I say. Flee at once to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay with him for a while until your brother's fury subsides. When your brother is no longer angry with you and forgets what you did to him, I'll send word for you to come back here. Why should I lose you both in just one day?" Okay? So we know that Esau really hates Jacob. He's very mad at him for stealing his blessing from Isaac and wants to kill him. So Rebekah says, "Hey, go to my brothers, go there, get away from this so that way it doesn't happen. I don't want to lose both my kids in one day when maybe I can make this a little bit longer." So we're going to jump to verse 28, and we're going to find out about a dream that Jacob has as he's going into Laban. Verse 28, chapter 28, verse 10 through 17. Okay. Jacob had set out for Haran. When he reached a certain place, he stopped for the night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones there, he put it up under his head to lay down on it to go to sleep. He had a dream in which he saw a stairway resting on the earth, and at its top reached to heaven. And the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. There above it stood the Lord, and he said, "I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. For your descendants will be like the dust of the earth and will spread out to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. All peoples of earth will be blessed through you and your offspring. I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." Okay, we're going to continue with 16 and 17. When Jacob awoke from the sleep, he thought, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I was not aware of it." He was afraid and said, "How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God. This is the gate of heaven." Okay? So has a dream. Can you imagine seeing a ladder that's on earth, reaching all the way to heaven, and then angels are coming up and down, so ascending and descending. Okay? So if we go to Genesis 29, we're going to find out what happens to Jacob, okay? So verse 29, we're looking at 4 through 6. Jacob said to the shepherd, "My brothers, where are you from?" "We're from Haran," they replied. He said to them, "Do you know Laban, Nabal's grandson?" "Yes, we know him," they answered. Then Jacob asked him, "Is he well?" "Yes, he is," they said. "And here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep." Okay, so we're going to find out when we look down to, we're going to skip over verses 7 and 8 and jump to verse 9. But you will see that we have, sorry, hopefully that didn't mess that up. We have Jacob sees Rachel, and he is very captivated by what he sees, okay? Looking at 9 through 14, while we were still talking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherd. When Jacob saw Rachel's daughter of the uncle and of Laban and Laban's sheep, he went over and rolled a stone away from the mouth of the well and watered his uncle's sheep. When Jacob kissed Rachel and began to weep aloud, he told Rachel that he was a relative of her father and the son of Rebekah. So she ran and told her father. As soon as he had heard the news, Jacob, his sister's son, had hurried to meet him. He embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his home, where Jacob had told him all of the things. Then Laban said to him, "You are my own flesh and blood." So really, he meets his cousin, okay? And he is in love with his cousin, okay? So we're looking at Genesis 29, 15 through 30. So Laban said to him, "Just because you're a relative of mine, should you work for me you should work for me for nothing. Tell me what your wages should be." So what should you get? What should he get for working for me? He had 2 daughters. One was Leah, and the younger was Rachel. Leah had weak eyes, but Rachel had a lovely figure and was beautiful. Jacob was in love with Rachel and said, "I will work for 7 years if I can marry her." He said, "I would rather give her to you than some other man. Stay here with me." So Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel. But they seemed like only a few days to him because he was so in love with her. When Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife, my time is completed, and I want to love her." Okay, so at this point, we're in verse 22. Okay, and we're about to find out something that happens to Jacob that he did years ago comes back to him. So he brought together for a feast in the evening. He took his daughter Leah and brought her to Jacob, and Jacob loved her. And Laban gave him his servant to give them attention. When morning came, it was Leah that he had married. Okay, so in other words, he had put a veil on Leah to hide that it was not Rebekah. So at this point, Jacob is tricked into marrying Leah and not Rebekah. So he wakes up the next morning. He's very mad that he got tricked into marrying Leah. And so he now agrees to continue working for his uncle and will marry Rachel after he works 7 more years. Okay. So, sometimes we look at things and say, well, you've done something mean for somebody, and Jacob didn't ask the Lord for forgiveness from what I've read. Okay. So his own uncle tricks him the same way he had tricked his brother. So during this whole time, changes are being made. He's being tricked. It's kind of the way we get in the world we are in today. Sometimes that happens to us. We get tricked into doing something, or we get strayed the wrong path. But then God always brings us back. Okay.